I do not want my children. And the more and more I think about it, I think I made a big mistake by having them. I've been thinking about this for years, and I also told my children that I do not want them at all. I told my children that I don't want them to live in the United States. I don't want them to grow up how I grew up. I don't want them struggling. I definitely don't want them to deal with discrimination. And I don't want them to be in debt. I don't want them to find a person that is not going to be beneficial to their lifestyle and how they've been living for almost the last 10 years being abroad. My husband and I, we say it all the time that we should have never, ever, ever had our children in the United States. We should have left and never looked back. All the stuff that's going on in the United States is not an healthy environment for my children to live in. I want them to feel secure. I want them to feel safe. I want them to feel loved by a community of people that is all striving for the same outcome. And I just feel like being in the States right now is too much pressure. It's volatile. And also, if they are looking to go to college and things of that nature, it's too freaking expensive.
All right, listen. First of all, it's wrong that she told her kids she wished she never had kids. I feel her points. She got some valid points, but the thing is, that means she got to get her money up so that the family can live outside of America then, if that's what she wants. Her and her husband both, they got to do what they got to do then. She's worried about a volatile economy. She's worried about them not getting to live a fulfilling lifestyle pretty much in America. Them being stressed, overwhelmed with everything that everybody is overwhelmed with when it comes to life right now. I feel like that's valid. And she said everything. I don't got to recap everything. Y'all heard her out. But it's not right for her to say she wished she never had them. And now her kids know that she wished she never had them. Her and her husband should do what they got to do so the family can move into a more stable economy that has community, that has all of these wants that she's looking for. That's what I feel like.
A parent, we want what's best for our children. Now, do I want them to struggle? Yes, but I don't want them to have the same exact struggles that I had growing up with.
It's a natural thing for us to want to protect our children, right?
Right.
But at the same time, this is why you got to have the balance of masculine and feminine in a household where you're raising children, because it's not about whether or not all the community is always going to be. That's not realistic. It's not even realistic when it comes to the jobs that you work. You're going to have different people from different spectrums. But see, my father taught me that life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it.
Right.
You don't have to be in a space where everything is overly expensive. You just don't have to keep up with the Joneses. You just don't have to necessarily embrace a specific type of culture. The culture is what you make it. And so everywhere in the United States of America is different. How they think in the Midwest and in Detroit is much different than how they think in Miami versus Los Angeles versus New York versus Atlanta, right? So when I see people saying things like this, I understand it, because, you know, you don't want to bring children into a bad world, but I will tell you that this world is 10 times better than ever before. And that's just the truth. Like, if you look at historically, anywhere, whether you're in the United States of America or you see the civil unrest in any country outside of the United States of America, there's always been times of warring, times of famine, times of poverty, times of distress, times of opportunity, times of being flush, you know. So, you know, if you look at it from that lens and you say we are in the greatest time of history, you don't have to spend a lot of money on college, for example, right? You can go to a community college and then transfer over into a major university, minimizing the amount that you pay in credits, and then ultimately saving for, if you know you're going to have a child, save for them, use the 529 plan or anything like that. It's all about planning. It's all about perspective. I think that a lot of times we input into our children our lived experiences from a negative perspective instead of using it as an opportunity to teach, right? And so, you know, we'll automatically say, oh, America and this and that, because I've had similar thoughts prior to my child being born. My daughter, I decided to only have one. because I said that I was going to pour everything that I could into her, right? In addition to that, I contemplated not having a child because I said, man, this world is so messed up. Now, I'm looking at it probably from a completely different lens as her, right? I'm looking at the alphabet community and, all of that type of stuff, how everything is going more liberal and just cultural norms. But I will tell you that as my daughter has traveled the world and has traveled all across the United States of America, she is incredibly well-rounded, incredibly confident, doing it so well, and her community is thriving and going in the direction that she is going in. So it depends on what you create, right? It depends on how you strive and structure the life of the children that you have.
Right. What environment are you bringing them up in? Because ultimately they will become a product of their environment. And when people use that term, they use it from the negative, but it also could have a positive. If they're in a great community, then they could become great because they were raised in a great community and they became a product of greatness. You see what I'm saying? But most times people say that when they're referring to a poverty-stricken environment and a kid going on and becoming a criminal, catching the case, ending up in jail or, unalived. So I feel Anton. I feel like you're right. It's ultimately up to you who you raise them around, where you raise them, what you instill into them, the morals and principles you instill into them, and how much time are you pouring into them. Most parents don't have enough time to pour into their children, and the world is raising their children. And if the world is raising your children, then that's a whole different saga. And that's you failing to do what you had to do in order for them to be an upstanding citizen.
I would never want to live anywhere outside of the United States of America for the rest of my life. I love my city. I love my state. I love the fact that we had the wherewithal to change the dynamics of the direction of the city collectively. And I think that it's an awesome thing of what she's got to experience. And she don't have to necessarily go through what I went through, but she has to fail in controlled environments in order for her to be successful. Let's continue to deep dive into what she's saying.
Limited resources that cause me to make limited decisions. I want my kids to feel like
Stop having kids poor too.
the entire world is at their fingertips and they can access that world at a drop of a hat. Even if they cannot access that world, they can learn about the culture. They can have friends from there. They can probably, explore what that is all about and be global.
I don't understand what the problem is. You literally have more opportunity than ever before to tap into certain cultures, people that don't look like you, places you've never been to. Let me hear the whole thing.
I'm thinking what she's saying is she wants to raise them in a culture that has culture. I mean, I can't say America don't got culture, but the culture we have thrives off of negativity. It's really like the hip-hop culture became our culture, right? Because for a lot of us, America was not where our ancestors came from. I know mine weren't. And people like to say that, well, my people been here. Well, how far down the family tree are you looking? Because if we're talking about slavery, they came from Africa. So I feel like she's talking about she wants to raise them in a place like Africa that has core values and rich culture. And I'm not just talking about monetarily. I think that's what she's saying.
And open-minded to other places, countries, things of that nature. We have been told so many lies in the United States in regards to living and children and things of that nature. Look, parents, if you do not want your children to grow up in this crazy world, especially in the U.S., I can help you. My husband and I, even my children.
Wait a minute. If she can't help her children, how is she going to be able to help others? Now, I'm here out, though. Let's see what she's talking about. But it sounds like she's selling something. And I was ready to cut the video off. I don't like when people advertising something that they can't even provide for their self or their family. But we're going to hear her out. Let's see.
Help your family get the heck out of there. So what we have done was forget my little webinar.
All right, so I'm assuming that she's selling something right now. But I think that if people don't like it here in the United States of America, and I'm always going to link back to the content creator because it's just the right thing to do regardless of whether I agree with him or not. And she did a great sales pitch and all of that, hooking you in at the beginning and saying something that seemed egregious. Me watching this in real time and watching it all the way through, it's a good title. I think that she's great at marketing, so shout out to her. Personally, I would never live outside of the United States of America permanently. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, and I've traveled to a lot of places. I'm going to Korea um, not next month, in August. Every single year, I try to take at least 2 or 3 international trips. Um, Bucharest, Japan, Korea, or so many different places, right? And so just came back from middle of Mexico, all of that. And so of all of the different things that I've seen and the cultures that I've seen, I'm gonna just tell you, and I know that it's people that adapt very easily outside of the United States of America. I'm one of them. It's nothing. When I get off that plane and I touch American soil, it's like a relief. You know what I'm saying? It's like I get.
And me, I feel the complete opposite. See, this is where we differ, and that's all right. Y'all drop a comment below. Which one do you agree with, Anton or me? Because me, it's the complete opposite. I touch down, I feel great, feel relieved. I mean, there is some stress that come with it, though. You got to know how to move. But once you actually settle in, then it's nice. You know, it's peaceful, depending on which country you go to. You know, and the type of people that you meet. If you tap in with a local, then it's a smooth ride. You know, it's smooth selling. No worries. You know, if you're one with the culture, then you feel like you're a part of the culture. But like I said, it depends on who you meet, and that'll determine your experience. I'm going to just say that. But when I was in the Philippines, I feel right at home. I feel better than at home. I made a whole new family. I got like 150 people out there that still check on me to this day. My real family don't even check on me like that. So it depends on where you're going. That's what I feel. Then sometimes when you come back here, you feel and see the stress on people's faces. You can even feel it in the air, like the air smell different. It's more worry. Like I said, it depends on which country you're talking about, though. Even though some of these places have more poverty, they're happier, right? Their culture is more rich in resources, right?
I'm sick if I'm too far out of the country for too long. And it's like, yo,
That
this
happens.
is awesome. This is great. I can't wait to come back and visit here. But it's nothing. It's nothing like the United States of America. And I'm in support of people that decide that they want to leave the United States of America. Yo, leave, go do your thing, live wherever it is that you want to live, spend your money where you want to spend it, be mindful of the cultures that you're leaving and going to, because you are basically displacing sometimes by en masse. I know it happened in Mexico City where it's a lot of locals. It's like, yo, we don't really want y'all here because y'all making it more expensive and all
Expensive
of
for
that
them.
type of stuff. So
Right.
you may disrupt the ecosystem of how people are living in other countries. But yeah, man, I think that people should do what they want to do when they want to do it, as long as they're doing it legally and by the rules by which happens in other countries. And I want people that come over here in the United States of America to do it so legally here. But it's, for me personally, there's nothing, and I mean nothing, better than the United States of America. I love this country. I love it with everything that's in me. I love my city, yo. I genuinely do. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Let me know what y'all think inside of the chat.
Yeah, he a Detroiter. Detroiters love the city, right? Will never go nowhere else. Happy at home, right? With all of the problems that come with it, with all of the violence, hey, love being at home. Like I said, to each his own. Some people in America don't feel at home. So everybody's experience is different. I know people that have more money have a greater experience in this capitalist country, right? He's speaking from the aspect of somebody with money. You see what I'm saying? He got a rollie on his wrist. She ain't got no rollie. So her experience is different. Most people aren't making as much as Anton make per month, right? He's making great money. So his experience will be different. But for most people, they're living on the poverty line or below it, and their experience is completely different for their families. Like he said, stop having kids poor. He could say that, but the person that's poor with kids, they can't really say that because they don't know how to get out of survival mode. He already made it out of that. So I'm going to let y'all drop a comment. Let me know, what do y'all think? Peace to my Hebrew fam. Shalom. I will catch y'all on the next one.